Hello, how to file an LLC beneficial ownership report. You'll go to their website and we paste it there, Financial Crime Enforcement Network website. And on the website, file a report using the e-filing system. You can click on that. And I believe on this website you should be able to find reference materials. And we will come to that later, but we will go to the e-filing system. And on this website, beneficial ownership information reporting, we will click on that. And prepare a BOR or submit one. That is for if you are completing a PDF. I'm just going to talk about the one that you can just complete online. That will be file online BOR. So you scroll down and you click on it. You can read through it and then you agree. So it will take you to the filing page, and on the first one, if that's your first time filing it, you will click on initial report. If that is you are trying to correct an information that you already filed, you will click on the B option, or if you are updating the prior report, you will click on C. And newly exempt entity, that will be D. But then if we click, you will click on A for initial report, and that's what we are going to talk about. And you can scroll down to read what they have down here, but then you will click on next and we'll go to reporting company. So when we go to that page, request to receive an ID, we are not going to check that, but if you want, it's up to you. But then you scroll down, you will report your business name. Make sure it is the legal name, the way it is on SSA form. SSA4 is the letter you receive from IRS when you apply for EIN number for your business, or your EIN application form. If you save a copy, you will find your business legal name the way you enter it there. You'll enter that. If you have a DBA or a trade name, you'll enter that on line 6. And at this point, you choose the tax identification, and for business it will be EIN. But if you are using a social security for your business like a sole proprietor, then you'll do that. But yeah, our default will be EIN, and you'll enter your tax identification number. The country is going to be okay, so we have to enter something for something to, but it's going to be a US. Hold on. If we select something here, then you'll have your tax identification, and when you enter the tax identification, it's going to give you options, and it's going to be this one won't give you anything here because it's foreign, so we are not going to do anything there. But you scroll down, the jurisdiction of first registration, you click on it, and that's where you are going to find the United States to select. So just remember that the first option here is more for foreigners. For the US, you'll find that option on line 10 and you'll select it there. And I think it's giving you some instructions as well. When you put your mouse on it, it gives you some instructions that you might read if you find it helpful. And you scroll down and you'll be able to add your business address, street number, city, state, zip code. And again, here you'll choose the United States, and here you'll choose the state your business is located in, and then you'll click on next. Excuse me. Then we'll go to the next page, and the next page, existing reporting company. So if your company has been around before up to January 1st 2024, it is an existing reporting company, so you'll check that line 16. By doing so, it's not going to ask you to report the company applicant. The company applicant is pretty much who file the business information with your state to register the business. So, but if it's an existing company, you check that box. It'll tell you that for existing company, the other area will be disabled. You won't need to do anything there. So we are going to, for this, I'm just going to keep it like this so that I can show you those areas. So the company, and for the company applicant, you can add up to 2, and up to 2 in the sense that if one gather the information and a second person file it with the state, you can ask those 2 people, you can add those 2 people in it. And it's pretty much is going to be asking for the person's information net. You can leave the ID section alone, and you'll enter the person's information, first last name, first name, middle name, date of birth, and you'll add the person's ID as well. So the business address, if the person's residential address, whatever address you wanted to add. If a lawyer file with the state for you, you gather the information, then you can add your information, and then you can add the lawyer's information as well. So the lawyer information will be the business address for that lawyer, while you could be your residential address, or again your business address, whichever works. So then you'll enter ID that you are going to show, the ID number, and the state that issue the ID, and the country, the US. And then the document you selected, you'll add a picture of it. Could be PNG or JPEG. And if you want to add a second person, then you click on add a company applicant. That would be that. Otherwise, when you click on 16 that this business was existing before January 1st 2022, then those areas will be disabled, and you don't need to complete that portion. You will only complete that portion if if your business has been open after January 1st 2024. So now you'll click on next to go to the next one, or and in our example we just click on beneficial owner. Beneficial owners are people that own the business and own 25% or more of the business. So people that have power to make a certain important decision in the business. So for this one, if you have a minor that own 25% or more in the business, then you can add that child parents information by clicking on this one. So by doing that one, the child, it becomes an adult. Then you can come back and correct that information by updating a prior report. That will be C, to update that report. But in this example, we are not going to add any minor child in it. But again, for the beneficial owner, we are going to leave this ID area open. You have the option to apply for an ID and then enter the ID, but we are just going to add the people's information directly in the form. And they have some entities, some exempt things here for cases that the beneficial owner may not be added, and they give reasons there. But again, legal name and birthday, those are, and then the ID are the information you are going to add for each beneficial owner. So you'll add the person's last name, first name, middle name, and the birthday. Then you'll add the person's address, and that is the residential address, city, state, zip code, and the country. And again, it's going to be the US, unless otherwise. And then you scroll down and you'll choose the identification. Something is a document that will have a picture on it. It could be a passport, it could be a state ID. So you select that and you add the ID number and the country, the US, and the state that issued the ID. You will select that as well. And then the ID, you take picture of it, you save it on your computer, and you upload it. And then you click on next. If you have more than one owner, then you don't click on next. You scroll back to the top and you click on add beneficial owner. And when you click on add beneficial owner, it's going to show you another page that shows the same information that the beneficial owner one has, and you complete that for the other beneficial as well. And if you have the third one, you go all the way to the top, you click on that add beneficial owner to add that information as well. When you are done adding all those beneficial owner, you can just click on when you scroll back to the top, you can click on beneficial owner and the drop down menu, and it's going to open the owner information for you to double check. And then it will have the next beneficial owner at the bottom of the page, and then you can click on the drop down menu to open the next beneficial owner to check the information as well. Once you are satisfied with the information you collected and reported for the beneficial owners, you click on next and it will take you to the submit. The submit, you enter your business email address, you enter your name, you that are filing, your first name, your last name, and you read it and check it. And then you check this one and it'll give you some things to to find, to make sure it is a human being, and then you'll click on submit bar. So that's how you file a business ownership information report with the Financial Crime Network. Excuse me. So if we go back to the e-filing, so if you have more than one business, then you can come back to the e-filing and start it for the next business. But what we are going to do here is go back to the original. Let me see if let's copy that. It's good to read the instructions to see in what case you should file it, who should file business ownership information report. And they have some reference manual here. Let's see if that's where we will find those information. Anyway, you can scroll through and open some document here to see which one you find interesting for you to download, save, read through it, highlight things that that you find relevant to your business, and then you can complete the document. So I do have one that let me see here, that I open is the small entity compliance guide, and I don't know, and they do have a quick reference as well that can walk you through it. And there is one thing that I like to point out: when you are done completing, you submit the document, it will show you the confirmation number. It's good to save the confirmation number, but then it will give you the option to download. Save the confirmation number, but then it will give you an information to download a report. Click on that download and download it, because you are not going to have that. They will send you an email, but you are not going to find that report in the email, at least based on what they said. So click on that download it and save it. It's pretty much what you enter in the system when you are completing the business ownership information. So you want to save it, that way you know what you report, so that later if you need to update something, you know what you are updating as well. And that is something that I like to point out here. So now we are going to go back to the compliance guide, and I don't know which manual here is the compliance guide. Anyway, but you can just scroll through to find that resource. So if I go back to the page that I was before, if I scroll down, they have a brochure here for her small business resources. Small entity compliance guide. Maybe that's what that is, I'm not sure. We can click on that, and they have the English version. And it's good to read it, and that is that document. So that's how you find that document that I just opened. So let's see if we can go back to it. So pretty much from their website, you just click on small business resource. Okay, it took me back to this one here. Let me see if I can paste it again. When you click on small business resource, you will click on that guide, and that's how we found it. So I'm going to go to the guide and just go through it. I highlight some information that I think is kind of important. So it's 57 pages. Let's see what we can find interesting here. But again, it's good to read through it to see what you found relevant to your business and go through those. Okay, so the beneficial owner is an individual who owns or controls at least 25% of the company or has substantial control over the company. And a company applicant is an individual who directly files or is primarily responsible for the filing of the document that creates or registers the company. So the company, I don't know if you recall, if we go back to here and we go to filing, and we click on get started, and we go to The e-filing, the company applicants is who is responsible of filing your business with your state to register as an LLC, or as an LLC, or who actually file it with the state. So you are the owner. The owner is the primarily responsible person to file it with the state, but you could easily hire an attorney or a lawyer to file it as well. So it's an individual who directly file or is primarily responsible for the filing of the document that create or register the company with the state. The beneficial owner is an individual that owns or controls at least 25% of the company or has substantial control over the company. And substantial control over the company could be somebody that does not own anything, any percentage of the company, but make important decisions. Could be a CEO, a CFO, a COO, somebody you hire from outside to manage your business that has an important play an important role in your business, but do not own any percentage of the business or own a little. And the business owner that owns at least 25% or more is a beneficial owner to report information about to the financial crime networks. So the beneficial owner information will go on the beneficial owner, and you can have as many as beneficial owners that own at least 25% of the company or play a big role in the company in the decision making. And the company applicant can only have up to 2 who is responsible for filing. That is the person that gathered the information and who actually file if you hire somebody else to do it for you, or a spouse did it, or a co-partner did it. So you can have 2 applicants there, but the beneficial owners can be more. Okay, so let's go and continue to see if we can find something that is, who do I need to file when do I need to file a report? So report will be accepted starting at the beginning of January 2024. So reporting companies created or registered to do business before January 1st, 2024. So I don't know if you recall, but a company that existed before January 1st, 2024 are reporting companies, and we saw that before, believe in the applicant session, existing reporting company. So reporting company created or registered to do business before January 24 will have additional time until January 1st, 2025 to file their initial BOR reports. So if your business existed before January 1st, 2024, you have until, let's just say, December 31st, 2024 to file your report with Financial Crime Network. Reporting companies created or registered on or after January 1st, 2024, but before January 1st, 2025, they have 90 days, calendar days, after receiving actual or public notice from the state that their company creation or registration has been effective. From that time frame, they have 90 days to do their reporting. Keep in mind that your reporting will ask for the business identification number. So they are giving you 90 days. If your business has been created in 2024, they are giving you 90 days to file the business ownership report, and the company applicants who file with the state information, they are giving you 90 days to do that. Just keep in mind that after you file your report with the state and got approved, after you file your business with the state and got approved, you need to apply for EIN with IRS, because in the company information that you are going to provide is going to ask for identification number for the business. And for an LLC, it will be a good idea to have an EIN number to provide. And without one, it's kind of crucial. You see the asterisk there, so it's kind of crucial to have an identification number. So without an identification number, you won't be able to really complete the form and submit it. So therefore, just make sure you apply for EIN number with IRS and get that number, and then complete this. And for a sole proprietor, SSN will just be fine if that's what they intend to use in the business. But again, when you change to a EIN, it might be something that you might want to update as well. So just make sure you have your document on hand before you file, so that you won't have to go correct or update information. So specifically, this 90-day calendar deadline runs from the time the company receives actual notice that its creation or registration is effective, or after a Secretary of State or similar office first provide public notice of its creation or registration, whichever is earlier. Just keep that in mind. A reporting company created or registered on after January 1st, 2025 will have 30 days to file their business ownership information. And I'm not sure why they make it so short though, because if you are going to use EIN after your business is filed with the state, is the next step would be to ask IRS for EIN number. So you'll need to have that EIN number to be able to enter that in the business information. So just keep that in mind to know all the different steps that you need to take, so that you do not delay the process. You do not take long in the process, so that you don't fall behind in this. If you need to apply for EIN, get it done, you receive it, so that if you prefer to use EIN instead of your social security number, then you have it on hand to use. Okay, so now let's continue to see if we can find, and then they pretty much go over to give some information, some detailed information on each one of those topics. And you can read through everything, and what you find important that you want to remember, you can highlight it, so that later on when you come back to your document, you can just go to your highlight. So is my company a reporting company? So reporting company definition, they have some graph here. I won't call it graph, but I don't know, in French they might say schema, so I don't know how you say in English, but you have those. It's not even a diagram, is it? But anyway, you have those that you can just go through it, read through it to see, is it a corporation, is it an LLC, and so forth, to see who is actually required. So pretty much a company that you file with the state is a company that is a reporting company. Is all what it boils down to. So was the company created by the filing of a document with a Secretary of State or any similar office under the law of a state or Indian tribe? So if we go a little bit up, I don't know if they try to explain it. The reporting rule requires that all reporting companies file BOI report with Financial Crime Network within the previously certified time frame. A reporting company is an entity that meets the reporting company definition and does not qualify for an exception. There are two categories of reporting companies: a domestic reporting company and a foreign reporting company. If your company is neither a domestic reporting company nor a foreign reporting company, because it does not meet either the definition described below, or it qualifies for an exemption, then it's not required to file a BOR report. So pretty much it all boils down to is, did you file anything with your states, your Secretary of State, or the how do you call it, the courthouse of your county? I know that, I don't know, in some states you might file a DBA with a courthouse, and you might register your business. Like if it's a sole proprietor, you might file a DBA with the courthouse. If you are creating an LLC, then you'll file that with a Secretary of State. If you are creating a S Corp or a C Corp, you'll file that with the Secretary of State. So pretty much it all boils down, did you file an official document for your business, or is it just a sole proprietor, you are doing everything in your own name, without filing anything with the court or the Secretary of State? I think it might be a case where you may not be a reporting company. But if you create an official document for the business to make the business a separate entity from you, even a single member LLC, you actually file something with the Secretary of State as well. So therefore you made that business an entity separate from you. That entity has its own is pretty much that, is an entity separate on its own. Therefore they want you to report it. That is my understanding of it. And then they have, unless specified, state and tribe have the following meaning. State mean any state of the US, and they have all those things you can read. When in doubt, you might just complete it. And then they have some exemptions here, and you can go through those exemptions. And so those are exemptions that are now required to file a business ownership report. Something I'm interested in though is inactive entity. Inactive entity 23. So let's go check if they have information on those. And they try to explain it and give yes and no questions there. So it's good you read the exemption to see, compared to your company, if your company meet any of those exemptions. Excuse me. So we are going to read about the inactive. An entity qualifies for this exemption if all 6 of the following criteria apply. The entity was in existence on or before January 1, 2020. The entity is not engaged in active business. The entity is now owned by a foreign person, whether directly or indirectly. The entity has not experienced any change in ownership in the preceding 12-month period. The entity has not sent or received any fund in any amount greater than $1,000, either directly or through any financial account. Excuse me. Excuse me. The entity does not otherwise hold any kind or type of asset. Excuse me. So, for any inactive entity, you may not need to report if all of those criteria are met. So we are going to continue. So who is the beneficial owner of my company? Any individual might be a beneficial owner through substantial control. Excuse me, ownership interest, or both. Reporting company are now required to report the reason of that substantial control or ownership interest that an individual has, or that made that individual a beneficial owner. A reporting company can have multiple beneficial owners. For instance, a reporting company could have one beneficial owner who exercise substantial control over the reporting company, and a few other beneficial owners who own or control at least 25% of the ownership interest of the reporting company. A reporting company could have one beneficial owner who both exercises substantial control and own or control at least 25% of the ownership interest of the reporting company. So there is no maximum number for beneficial owners to report, but you just need to know who are those beneficial owners that you need to report. And they have some conditions, they have some examples to help you navigate those as well. And they explain what a substantial controls are as well for you to understand it. So for those positions, you will see the senior officers like COO, CFO, and CEO. You can even see a president as well. So even if they have zero ownership of the company, their employees, you will report them. So decision makers, any individual who direct, determine, or has substantial influence over important decisions made by the reporting company, including decisions regarding the reporting company's business, finances, structure. Those are people, beneficial owners information that you need to report. And they have catch-all. So any other form of substantial control over the reporting company. So control exercise in new or unique way can still be substantial. For instance, flexible corporate structures may have different indicator of control than the indicator included here. So, and then they have ownership interest as well that they explain, and that is the 25%. So it could be 25% of the loss, the profit, the vote, so they explain those automatically. Those are beneficial owners. And you should be able to know the owners and their percentage of ownership in the business. And then if you hire other people outside of those owners that are senior officers, then those are people you need to include as well because of the control they have over the business. So what step can I take to identify my company's beneficial owners? So they have: one, identify individual who exercise substantial control over the company. Two, identify the type of ownership interest in your company and the individual that hold those ownership interests. Three, calculate the percentage of ownership interest held directly or indirectly by individual to identify individuals who own or control directly or indirectly at least 25% of the ownership interest of the company. And they try to give some example that are kind of interesting as well, that can help you, guide you in your decision making. And they have some yes or no questions here, but I do like the examples that they use. As the business owner and the CEO of your business, you cannot just go in and just complete that form. You need to actually understand what you are completing, like completing the business ownership information form. You need to understand what you are completing and why you are completing. Therefore, it's crucial you take the time to read the guide and see where your business fits in all of this, and then go complete it. Again, being a business is not just about making money, but it has so many other requirements that are equally important, and you cannot devalue those tasks that control to the health of your business, because those things are what keeps your business alive. They may not make you money, but really they keep you anxiety free and keep your business continue working and making money. So they are equally important. You need to file those things if you are required to file them, and file them by their due date, because those are what keeps that's one less things to worry about when you know and whether you need to complete it, and complete it if you need to complete it, and complete it on time. That's one less things to complete. Many people talk about having a side business, having a business, and all the nuances that you can go through to save on taxes and all that. But at the end of the day, depending on the complexity of the business structure that you created for yourself, it can add more complexity on regulations that you need to meet, or forms that you need to file. You may not be able to file them by yourself. You might have to hire somebody to do it for you, and that's money you are going to pay. So just keep that in mind. Saving on taxes by complicating your business structure might cost you money. And if your business is making money, yes, it might be worth it. But if your business is not making money, it may not be worth it. So step 3, after you identify what type of ownership interests apply to your company and who owns or controls them, you must determine who owns or controls 25% or more of those ownership interests. If a company issues share of stocks, is a corporation including a subchapter S corporation, or is not a corporation but is truly as one for federal tax purposes, they will calculate each owner's interest as a percentage of the total share of stock issued. Even for an LLC tax as an S corp that does not have stocks, you can assume the company stocks is 100% and the ownership is a fraction of that. the stocks is 100 and the ownership is fraction of that. You can use it that way as well. And they just have those type of calculations here. But I will ask you at this point, you should be able to know who own what in your company. For the small company, it shouldn't be too complicated that you had to do those calculations to know who actually own how many percentage of the company. Step 3, after you have applied those scenarios to your company's ownership interest, you will have enough information to identify the individuals who own or control 25% or greater of the ownership interest in your company. You must report the individual who own or control 25% or more of the ownership interest in your company as beneficial owners in your company's BOI report unless they qualify for an exemption as discussed in the next section of the chapter. And then they have some examples here that you can go through. The reporting company is an LLC. Individual A is a sole owner and president of the company and makes important decisions of the company. So no one else owns the company. So automatically, that person is the one that exercises the control, and that person owns 100% of the company. So that is the beneficial owner that you will report. So individual A is the beneficial owner of the reporting company in 2 ways, assuming no other facts. First, individual A exercises substantial control over the company because individual A is a senior officer of the company, the president. Although an LLC doesn't use president, though an LLC will just say a member, but anyway, who's checking? Second, individual A is a beneficial owner because individual A owns 25% or more of the reporting company's ownership interest. So, and that is individual A that you will report to Financial Crime Network. And they'll have those examples that you can go through it. And I found the second one to be interesting as well. The reporting company is a corporation. The company total outstanding ownership interest and our share of stocks. So 3 people, A, B, C, own 50%, 40%, and 10. So you can say that the 50 and 40 are higher than 25% ownership. So automatically they are beneficial owners. And 10% is not, unless he's exercising a substantial control. So respectively, and no other person, and one other person, individual D, acts as the president of the company but does not own any stock. So because of the title of this person, this president that owns 0% of the company has substantial control over the company. Therefore, you report that person's information as well. So you report A, B, and D information to the Financial Crime Network, but you don't need to report C. So assuming there is no other relevant fact, individual A, B, and D are all beneficial owners of the company and their information must be reported. Individual C is not a financial owner. Okay. So what may not be clear is the C, is the D. Okay, they can even say individual C is not a senior officer of the company and does not directly or indirectly exercise any substantial control over the company. C also owns 10% of the company, which is less than 25% to qualify as a beneficial owner. So individual C is therefore not a beneficial owner of the company. Individual G is the president of the company. As a senior officer of the company, individual G exercises substantial control over the company and is therefore a beneficial owner regardless of whether or not D owns or controls 25% or more of the company's ownership interest. And then they have example 3. I'm not sure why I highlighted, but the company is an LLC with 2 managers, individual A and C. Individual A owns 50% and individual C does not. So we have individual A and C and two managers, individual A and C. So A and C are managers. So individual A also own 50%. So automatically individual A has substantial control and own more than 25% of the company. So it is a beneficial owner in two ways. So individual C does not what? Maybe it's not a manager. So it does not exercise control and owe 50% as well. But because he owe 50%, in one way it is a beneficial owner to report because he own more than 25% ownership. So therefore individual B will be reported because of that fact. So out of the two criteria, individual B met the second one. Individual C is a manager with zero ownership. But because of, so individual B own the remaining membership unit of the LLC. Oh, okay. But it's not a manager. That's the one we talk about. So individual C does not. So individual C does not have any ownership, but it is a manager. Therefore, it has a substantial control. So my guess will be A, B, and C will be reported as beneficial owners to financial crime. A met the two criteria, substantial control and 25% ownership. B met one criteria, 25% ownership. C met one criteria, substantial control. And B met one criteria, 25% ownership and more. So let's see what they said. All three are beneficial owners of the reporting company. So you see the examples how they do it. So we can go through those examples to see if any of those fit your business model to pretty much help you, guide you. And they have some indirect ownership through companies here as well that you can read through it. And again, that's where things get more complicated. When you create a business and then use another business to own a portion of that business, things can get tricky. But again, that is my example. If you are trying to save money by creating those complicated structure, it just add more complexity to where as you go along. Because when you are going to file returns or filing report with authorities, things can just get more complicated. It will require more attention to shift through detailed information to be able to put your data together accurately. Okay, so we are not going to go through this, but you can really, if you have that structure, we will continue. Who qualify for an exemption for the beneficial ownership? So if you have a minor in the business that own 25% or more of the company, then you can add a guardian, a parent's information instead. But then later you'll have to go and update the information when that child reach the majority, the age majority based on the state the business is located in. And at that time, if the individual is a beneficial owner, the reporting company must file an update BOI report providing the individual own information. Alternatively, if your kids own over 25% of ownership of your business and they are not minor, you can, if they have passport, US passport, or you can create one for them and you can just add those information. Again, the date of birth, the last name, first name, middle name, the US passport, and a copy of it, download to it, and the passport number. Otherwise, you can just add the parent information, and when that child come of age, then you can add the child information. So that's an exemption there. But there are some other employees and information as well. So if the individual is an employee of the reporting company, when applying the meaning of employee, okay, the general term means that the individual is subject to the will and control of the employer in what or how to do work, and that the employer may discharge the individual from work. So, and then they have all those, and the individual is not a senior officer, president, chief officer, general counsel, CEO, and all that. The person does not hold any of those titles. So, but again, in doubt, you might just provide the information. But again, though, if the person leaves and you hire another one in place, I think you might have to go and update that beneficial owner information also. I'm not sure. So again, for a small business where only the owners have control over the business, may not be an issue. Is the owners are the one controlling, making the big decision in the business as well. And that is pretty much what this tutorial is about, just for the simple business model owners that can file those things themselves. Okay, let's continue to see if there is something here. So, is my business required to report its company applicants? So a reporting company is not required to report its company applicant if it is either a domestic reporting company created before the beginning of 2024. So they have this here, and if you create your business existed before January 24, like you created with the state before January 24, you do not report the company's applicant. But if it's created in 2024 or after, you will provide that information. Who is a company applicant of my company? So each reporting company that is required to report company applicant will have to identify the and report to Financial Crime Network at least one company applicant, and at most two. All company applicants must be individuals, not companies. So company or legal entity cannot be company applicants. So the second category, let me just read the whole thing. So there are two categories of applicants: the direct filer and the individual who directs or controls the filing action. So the first category, the direct filer, must be identified by all reporting companies that have a company applicant reporting requirement. So the direct filer must be identified by all reporting companies that have a company applicant reporting requirement. So that person has to be listed. The second category, directs or control the filing action, may not be applicable to all reporting companies that have a company applicant reporting requirement. The second category of company applicant is only required to be reported when more than one individual is involved in the filing of the document that created or first registered the company. So if more than one individual is involved in the filing, then two company applicants must be reported. No reporting company will have more than two company applicants. So let's see. The direct filer, this is the individual who directly filed a document that create a domestic reporting company, or the individual who directly filed a document that first registered a foreign reporting company. this individual will have actually physically or electronically filed the document with the Secretary of State or similar office. Category 2. The other possible company applicant is the individual who was primarily responsible for directing or controlling the filing of the creation of first registration document. This individual is a company applicant even though the individual did not actually file the document with the Secretary of State or similar office. And that is the person that gathered the information, that have the idea of creating the business. So the direct filer in an example could be a lawyer, and who control the filing could be you, the owner of the business, that actually decided to create that business and went to a lawyer to get it filed with the state. So you are the category 2 and the lawyer is the category 1. So they have some examples here to explain it more. But if you have the idea of creating a business and you want to file with the states, you are the category 1 and 2. So you are the only one that you need to report as the company applicant. So they give an example here. Okay, so individual A is creating a company. Individual A prepared the necessary document to create a company and direct individual B to file the document with the relevant state or tribal office. Individual B then directly file the document that create a company. Individual A and B are both company applicants. Individual B directly filed the document, and individual A was primarily responsible for directing and controlling the filing. Individual B could, for example, be individual A spouse, business partner, attorney, or accountant. In all cases, individual A and B are both company applicants in this scenario. So they have an example here too. Individual A is creating a new company. Individual A prepares the necessary document to create a company and file them with the state, either in person or in using a service online. No one else is involved in preparing, directing, or making the filing. Individual A is the company applicant because individual A directly filed the document that created the company. Because individual A is the only person involved in the filing, individual A is the only company applicant. State or tribal employee who receive and process the company creation or formation documents should not be reported as company applicants. Okay, so now that we cover company applicants, and again, let's go back. Company applicants, that is the session for it. And then you have beneficial owner that we discussed prior. Reporting company. So the information you'll add will be the business name, the company's name, any trade name, and if your business was created in 2024 or after 2024, you'll enter the company applicant. It's going to be the person's name, the person's date of birth, the person's address, and an ID where there is a picture on it. And then you take a picture of it, save it on your computer, and download it to the site. And then let's see, do we have a beneficial owner? Yeah, pretty much they have them both because they are going to ask the same information for both. But yeah, and keep in mind that if you are the owner of the business, you could be the one that filed it with the state as well. So you could be on the company applicant page, and you could be in the beneficial owner page as well. So let's continue here. They do have some corrections that you can go and do. So initial report is due by December 31st 2024 for business that existed before 2024, and for new company created in 2024 you have 90 days to complete that from when the Secretary of State approve your registration, your business entity registration. And business created after January 1st 2025 has 30 days to register the business ownership information and the company applicant information. Okay. And if you want to update report, required when there is a change previously reported information about the reporting company itself or its beneficial owners. So you have 30 days to make that update. And when you want to make that update, when you go back to their website, you will click on update prior report. And they have cases that you will need to make updates. It could be you change a trade name, it could be a beneficial ownership change, it could be a beneficial name or address. Any change to a beneficial owner's name or address or unique identification number. So the following are some examples of changes that will require you to update it. So when a beneficial owner's address change, you need to go there and update it. It's just like the government is trying to keep tab on those people owning businesses. So and the name, like somebody got married and changed the last name, for instance, type of thing. So if you didn't apply for identification number, like identification number, there is, let's see, there is option to apply for identification number. When you go to the website, there is option for that. Let's get started here. I'm not sure if that's where I found it. Let's go. They won't give us that. But there is an option to apply for an ID, create that area. Beneficial owners can apply for it. You can apply for one for your business as well. To apply for one for the business, they have the option when you are filing to check. They have, if we go to the reporting request to receive, if you check that, they'll assign a number. So, and beneficial owners, they have a spot to, if they apply the way I show you on the website, where there is a link to this. If a beneficial apply for it, you can add that information. Otherwise, you don't have to add it if they don't have that ID. You don't need that ID to complete the form. You just need to complete the form with the people's information, their name, address, ID, and your business name and EIN. Like initial BOR report, update BOR report should be filed electronically through the secure filing method. And I think that is pretty much it. Okay, let's see here. We do have a few things here. Correct a report. So if you provide some information and later you think it's not accurate, you have 30 days to go back and correct it. And I believe there is another, it's like B or so, that is correct prior report. So you will check that and go back and correct it. So they have that as well. What should my company do if it become absent after already filing? So updated BOI report should be filed electronically through the secure filing system. An updated BOI report for a newly exempt entity will only require that the entity identify itself and to check a box noting its new exempt status. And that's pretty much it. What is concerning this business ownership? And we went through this who is required to file. We went through that already. And how much does it cost to file a BOI report? You can file it yourself for $0, but it does not cost anything to just go online and file it, and you see the process to get there. But if you are hiring somebody to do it for you, then I don't know how much they will charge you. But if your business model is simple, you can just go in, have the information, and go ahead and complete it. And you can draft a spreadsheet where you can gather your business information, that when you need to provide a data, you can just pull your spreadsheet and pull the information that you need to file the report that you need to file. And it might take you a little time to list those information that you think you might need to have information on about your business, in order to have those information in your record. If you want to save time and not drafting the list of what you need, you can find these templates at liberdownload.com, where you can purchase the templates and save it, and you can update it to add more to it based on your need. But it has some initial information that it might be a good idea you have on hand related to the owner's information, how much ownership they own, whether it's less than 25% or not. Just have all of those. And why not their titles, their name, their address. If you are going to be keeping track of those information and report it and update it, you might as well have that on hand. And the company's information, the legal name, the trade name, the address, the EIN, when you file it with the state you file it with, the type of entity it is, if you elect to be treated as an S corp, and the business activity code. And this one can be found if you pull any business tax instruction to any business tax report, like Schedule C or 1120S or 1065 instruction. For those tax return, at the end of the instruction, you should be able to find the list of business activity codes, and you can pull the one that is close related to your business and have it there. That's why you file your return with. Or if you are filing your tax return, you can pull that business activity code from it to have there. And when you file your BOI initial report, you can put it down, and the confirmation number they gave you, you can add it. The email address, the business email address, you can add it. And if you make any updates or any correction, it'll be good to enter the correction that you, or the update you make in the BOR report, and when you made that correction. Now you can track those changes, but it's not the only things that you will need to have a record of. But again, having those information, other things that you need to do, even your business starts to return, you can come and look for, double check your legal name, your EIN number, your business code, for instance. You'll be able, and how many owners of the business, you'll be able to find those information. When you have a record of it, it makes it simple for you. It makes it a little bit easier when you have the information on hand to be able to tap into it and you use it as needed. So those are the things you are going to need. We went through it, and you have a glance of the information, the data, the information you need to gather. Once you gather those information, it's easy to just go in and put them in, copy and paste them in. So you can drop a spreadsheet like that to have it completed with the information and just keep it on hand. And if you need to update it with other information, you add it to it. But if you want to save some time, instead of tapping those information yourself, you can buy our template at liberdownload.com, and you download it, save it, and then you complete it with the business information. Thank you. Remember the due date, and please make sure you file your business ownership information on time. Thank you. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you for your time. We thank you very much for all your comments. We thank you all that subscribe to our channel. I'm Afiavi Liberman, creator of Liberman Consulting LLC YouTube channel, and ninasoup.com, our blog. On our channel and on our blog, we share different ways you can save money and different ways you can make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer to provide for your family. Thank you. As a disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA. Our tax tutorials are for educational purposes only. Please use them at your own discretion. Thank you.